to motivate for you. A friend of mine did request me to make a video concerning being a parent of three boys. Like, what's my own opinion like when it comes to if as a parent, do I think that we can stop our children not to make mistakes? Can we really prevent our children not to make a bad decision being a parent? And I said, based on my own opinion, and for what I've also seen out there, and even talking to some lovely young people as well, I definitely don't think that we as a parent, we can stop children not to make mistakes. Making a mistake as well is really not a bad thing sometimes. It depends on the type of mistake, really. But I think making a mistake is not bad. It actually helps us to understand why we made that mistakes, and it also help us to not do it next time. Because more especially when we make some mistake and we have seen what it has led us to, and also saw the type of damage that it has caused sometimes, it can also help us to reflect and see how, if we have to do it again, what if we have to do that same mistake or that behavior again, how that can really lead us into a different, like a bad side of life. So I don't think that we as a parent, even if you're very, very strict parent, even if you're so strict, fine. As a strict parenting, you can um you can get your way in terms of like prevent your children in some extent not making mistakes. But in another way around, that you also have to view it, that many children who were brought up, many children who were brought up in a very strict home, most times when they grow up with so much fear, and because their parents were so strict with them, so in most cases they are so fearful to even like try or explore life, or maybe try different paths, different experience of life, that something that they haven't tried before. So because they were never grow to be open-minded, to be able to learn from maybe some little mistake maybe they've done, and also reflect. Because as a mom, I most times I let my children make a decision, like little decisions, and I want to see how they were able to come up with that decision. And by making that decision, if it doesn't work out, the way they plan, I actually ask them, why do you think that didn't work out? And so that next time when they're doing it again, they'll probably understand what they did at the first time that maybe let them down. So that next time when they're doing it, they can, probably maybe improve on it. So I think in that aspect, it's okay, because you're actually, teaching them how to reflect over what they've done before. Because just imagine when a child have been protected all when they were growing up, and they never made any mistakes. So most times when they make mistake, they either beat themselves to it, or they try, or they don't even try to do anything at all, because they don't even want to make mistake. Because for them, making a mistake, it's like a taboo, is a big deal. So most kids that are brought up, being like a very strict parent, and most times those children really, they have a certain limit in certain things that they do. So in most cases, when they find themselves in a challenging environment, or in an environment that challenged their confidence, or in an environment that try to like that will challenge them to try something different from what they've known, so most times those children will just shy away. They wouldn't want to do it. And also another thing that I've noticed as well, when you being a strict parent and raising kids under strict parenting, and most times many kids, being in front of their parent, they can play the role that their parents really, really want to see. So they can act very, very nice around their parent. They can be very, very good and appear to be okay. But when they leave the home and go outside, so it's both way. So they can start doing the same things that they were never allowed to do. So they can start engaging in same things that their parents will be very, very surprised that, wow, I would never have thought that my child would do all this, because the parenting was so strict that as make the child to really hide their true self, instead of maybe really being themselves and learning from little things that that they've done that probably it didn't go well. So if it didn't go well, they probably just learn from that and see, okay, why didn't it go well? So like me being a parent, I give my children a matter of freedom. So I let them know that you are free to do same things, because there's always limit in everything anyway. But I let them know you can do same thing, but you have to remember that any decision that you make is going to affect you. So at the end of the day, it's very, very okay for you to think before you start doing same things. And don't ever think that they are saying things that should limit you in life. It's good for you to explore same things, as long as it's not drugs or alcohol. But I think being a parent, I mean, it's very, very helpful when you're able to tell your children. I think children dwell more when you're able to just explain to them and go in depth and explain kind of like on their own age anyway, and let them know saying things that maybe they would have loved to do. And let them, it depends on the thing really, but when it comes to like drugs and alcohol, let them know the impact, let them know how it can affect people's health as well. So when it comes to like maybe they want to go out and play with their friends, it's good sometimes for you to also give them that freedom, but let them know that they need to communicate with you, let them know that you have trusted them for them to be able to be free when they are with their friends. But you don't want to put fear in them, because sometimes when we as a parent we put fear in our children, it actually limit them from being themselves, it actually limit them from exploring certain different things that they have never explored before. So fear can actually trap a person's mind not to see the world in a different form, because they are being nurtured in the same way that, because of the fear coming from their parent, not necessarily like the world is scary, but it's just that our mind of looking at the world as a scary place, and we taking some certain decision that we haven't really sat down to think like, why am I making this decision? What benefit does it have to do with me? And how, if I take this decision, how can this really impact me like in a negative form? And also, how does it also impact me in a positive form? So I think when we nurture children not based on fear, but by letting them be able to analyzing things that they're about to make a decision in doing, and just see how the pros and cons, it really help the child to start developing so much confidence in themselves, and they can be able to also use their own brain to like analyzing things and make a decision. But really and truly, we can't stop any human being. Just like you can stop yourself not to make mistakes, I can stop myself not to make mistakes, but I will be able to learn from my mistakes. The same thing I believe it applies to children. So no matter how much you love your kids, you can never ever prevent them not to make mistakes in life, but you can be able to guide them and be able to support them and explain to them to be more cautious, to also be more to analyze a bit more, like saying things that they're about to do, but let them see that you trust them, let them see that you actually believe in them, let them understand that you know that they can make a decision for themselves as well, a healthy decision. And just it kind of like, it's like you having a conversation with a friend of yours that you really love. So at the end of the day, you're not going to be putting fear on that friend, because putting friend on that friend, you're not going to be helping the friend as well, because in the long term, that fear is going to also impact that friend, in a lot of different ways. So the same thing applies to your children. So you don't want to nurture them with fear. You want to be able to guide them and give them motivation for them to know that it's okay for them to be them. It's okay to make some little mistakes and also learn from those mistakes. So that way, when they grow up, they become very, very confident, and they know that they can make a decision for themselves. Because I've seen a lot of kids that they've grown up now being an adult, they really don't have the mind of their own. They can't make decisions for themselves. They can't even make a decision even when they maybe their a partner, for example, maybe the child is trying to start going on dating. They don't know what they feel, they don't believe in their own judgment, so they start calling people to ask them, what do you think about this girl, what do you think about this guy? But really and truly, I think if we start nurturing our children from early age, and let them make a little bit of decision, and guiding them, and also making them reflect why they make that decision, and how does that decision also impact them, I believe that children will be able to develop confidence when they're growing up in every area of their life, in terms of of career, in terms of maybe even them being around friends as well, and in terms of even them start going on dating and thinking of settling down. So it help them to be more analytical when they're thinking and doing certain things. So I think it's really, really great idea to encourage our children. But I don't think that we can stop children from not making mistakes, because making mistakes as well is not also bad, but it does have its own benefit as well. Anyway, this is LJ Motivate for you. If you find it very, very motivating, the video, please feel free to click on the red button down below. Have a wonderful